Hey guys, I wanted to welcome you back to my channel. So I asked on Instagram if you guys had any questions for me. So today I just kind of wanted to answer those questions and kind of make this video more personal and more like a get to know me, get to know more about me and who I am. So in this video you guys ask questions and I'm ready to answer. So yeah, just, I don't know, grab a cup of coffee and we'll just get this thing going. So to start off, I just want to answer some of the more basic questions like my full name, my age, stuff like that. So hello, my name is Leandra Vasquez and I am 21 years old. I just turned 21. Let me look at my questions because I forget. So I just turned 21 in December, December 12th. Okay, so I am in community college. I graduated high school back in 2016. So I am currently in community college and I major in criminal justice. And actually at the beginning of college, I went in really headstrong. I was super sold on majoring in political science. But after a while, I honestly grew so bored of it and I just kind of switched my major to criminal justice. So that's been a lot better for me, truthfully, because I'm not the best at school. So that's actually something that has always interested me. So I do want to transfer, and actually I used to always want to I had a plan. I was I'm gonna go to community college and then I'm transferring, then I'm gonna start working, then I'm gonna get married and then blah blah blah. But obviously you know, life hits and reality sets in, and I used to want to transfer. I had really big dreams, okay? Not saying that I couldn't achieve them, but I just didn't work. So I wanted to go to Stanford University and I was super sold on it, and I was I'm gonna go to Stanford because they can teach me law and blah blah blah. That's clearly not how it's gonna be. So I actually want to transfer to Bible college for 2 years, if that. So I'll be moving to Ohio actually sometime kind of soon. I would say more in January of next year, of 2020. So that's kind of exciting, and that's kind of big news. That's kind of the most, I guess, big news in my life right now. So yeah. What kind of books do you read? Okay, so I read more of I guess it's more self-help Christian books. That's just kind of what I like to fill myself up with, because I feel they're soul food to me, you know? They're just I don't know, I find it a lot better to be reading those books. I used to be really into love books and Nicholas Sparks and all that, but I just kind of grew out of that, and I figured, you know, why be so into that when I could read books that are better. So a lot of I've read actually a lot of Christian books. A lot. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't even have room for them in my room. I'm a book fanatic though. I will read 3 books at one time, and I may not finish them fast, but I'll still read them, you know? What is your dream job and why? Okay, so at first, like I said, I was really looking forward to being a lawyer. I of course had big dreams, and I was I'm gonna be a lawyer, I'm gonna do this and that, but reality kind of set in, and I kind of just figured that's probably not really the best. That's not what I'm called to do. So I actually want to work in CPS, that is Child Protective Services, and I really want to work and I just want to help people that, you know, don't really have a voice necessarily. So I just want to help people that, you know, just really need God and stuff. And I know people, because I have family that works in law enforcement, and I have friends that work in law enforcement, and a lot of people are oh my gosh, that's so hard, you know, it's kids, and it's so hard to deal with. But I feel you know, God can kind of give me the strength to pursue that, and it's something that I really do feel has been processed in prayer, believe it or not. Yes, it has been something that you know, I asked God you know, what do you want me to do? What can I do in the world where I can, you know, make money to support a family, but I could still be helping other families, you know? What is your ministry? I don't usually answering this question very well, okay, whatever. So I would consider my ministry to be people, to be honest. I know that there's a lot of people who have a ministry of singing and have a ministry of, you know, ushering the presence of God and things like that. But for me personally, I think it's people, to be honest. Actually, I know it's people because, you know, I've always been very talkative. I just really like to talk. I don't know why. I act as if people want to hear me. And I just kind of figured that, you know, people who you encounter on a day-to-day basis, they're really people that you can always kind of like ministered to. Like you don't always need to be in church to minister to someone. It's actually better to go out and be the church. So for me personally, I found in like the recent years that my ministry has been people. I love to like just talk. I love to talk about like what God has done for me and what God can do for someone else. So I would say that my ministry is definitely, is people. So some of you really think that I'm gonna read some of these questions. I'm not. Since it's faith-based, when did you know you wanted to live for God and give your life to Him? So that's a great question. When I knew that I wanted to give my life to God, I was around 15 years old, and that's when I wanted to get baptized. So I was like, oh, you know, like I want to get baptized. Yeah, sure, why not? Like, I mean, I've always loved Jesus. Like I go to church, you know, I've always loved God, but I honestly did not have a relationship with God, even at the time that I wanted to get baptized. So it kind of like, I guess reality for me kind of set in, and I was like, well, what is baptism really? Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I gonna get baptized and like profess that I love someone who I don't even really know? So like that just kind of hit him for me, and I was like, and I remember like talking to my mom, and I was like, Mom, like I want to get baptized, but I want to know what baptism is, and actually I want to know who God really is. And she's just kind of like, oh, okay, like, you know. So she helped me, and we actually, that's where my whole like Bible reading started. And she took me outside, and like we read for I think like 2 weeks. She read with me, and we would like start to learn more about baptism and what it was. And then after a while, like I kind of fell in love with like reading the Bible, to be honest. Like I know it sounds super ancient and like, oh my gosh, this girl, like relax. But no, for real, I actually started to fall in love with it because there was like so many things in it that I never knew of before. So when I was reading it, I was like, wait, what? Like this is so weird. It's like reading, literally like reading a story. That's what it is. It's like, it was so simple for me. So I was like, what is this? Like, why have I never read it? Why don't I know like more than 2 scriptures memorized and things like that? You know, like I was just like, why don't I know this stuff? So I remember like asking my mom, and then she would read with me, and then we would just like have our reading dates. And then after a while she had told me, and she's like, you know, I think it's time for you to read on your own. And I was like, no. And she's like, yeah, like, you know, just read on your own. So I ended up reading on my own, and I was super like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know like what the Bible says. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, do I just open up to a page? Like, what do I do? So I ended up like printing out something from like Pinterest, and I was like, oh, read this when you're sad, read this when you're happy, read this when blah, blah, blah. So it gave me like places to go in the Bible. And so that's how I started reading the Bible. And I honestly, literally like fell in love with God. That's when like my whole relationship just kind of like flourished. And it really just took off. Like from that day and like forward, I was never the same. I was just like, oh my gosh, I've been coming to church all these years, and I've never even known who I was like serving, or like who like we worship. Like I truly didn't know God. I could be like completely honest. Like I loved Him, but I don't really think you can necessarily love someone that you don't know. So when it took off for me, I was probably like 15 years old, and now I'm 21. And from these 15 to 21 years, a lot has happened in these years, but I've like never lost the love that I've had for God. He's like always been the number one person, the number one like everything in my life. Like given like, you know, we all slip, we fall and things like that, but truly like God has been the person I truly like worship and, you know, things like that. So I was like about 15 when that happened. How do you maintain your fitness? Okay, so I kind of actually, well, like this video, or, you know, leave a comment down below if you think that I should do a video on this, because it's kind of like a long story. I do maintain my fitness. I have lost, I don't even know how many pounds, because to be honest, I don't weigh myself. Like I just don't, and that's just me. I don't weigh myself, but I take like progress pictures, and I have come like a very long way. It's really, I'm not gonna like put a picture here and show you because that's just not okay. It's like really gross. Okay, so I actually do a lot of cardio. I lift a little bit, but I'm very weak on my arms and stuff. So I run just about every day except Sundays. And I'm not on any specific diet. I'm not on keto. I'm not on like anything like that, but I do know what like hurts my body and like what is good for my body. So that's kind of what I do. But I do have a fitness life. If you want to have more in-depth conversations about that, or if you want to know just more about that, then like this video, and maybe I'll do like a fitness video or something like that. So someone asked, what's your biggest pet peeve? All right, I got a few. No, just kidding. Okay, no, I do. I'll give more of like a simple one and then more of like a big one. So one of my little pet peeves, which is really a huge deal if you know me, I cannot stand when people sneeze. And this is so disgusting. Okay, and obviously I know everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, everyone sneezes. Like, relax. I know that everyone sneezes, but when you don't like cover your mouth when you sneeze, it literally like gets under my skin on like a different level. I cannot stand it. It's like disgusting. Like when we say all the disgusting like all the spit, saliva, it's so gross. So if you guys don't know how to sneeze, don't sneeze in your hand. That's even worse. Like, honestly, you might as well just let it out. Sneeze in your arm, and if you can, please keep your arm up for at least 5 seconds after you've sneezed, because that just gets under my skin. So yeah, shout out to my sister for not knowing how to sneeze. So my other pet peeve is when I have to meet someone about 10 times, and every time that we meet, they somehow don't remember our last time that we were meeting. It's just kind of ridiculous to me. Oof, so many people do this. Okay, so it's like you meet someone and you're like, hi, I'm Leandra, hi, I'm so-and-so. I can insert so many names right there, but I'm not. And you know, literally like, oh my gosh, like you could see this person like the next week at some church event or at school or whatever. This mostly happens at church. And honestly, like people would just be like, oh, wait, what's your name? Oh, hi, it's so nice to meet you. Honestly, you guys, like I literally call people out for that. I cannot stand it. And like I'm very nice, you know, but like don't meet me 10 times. It's like annoying. Like I've never personally, I've just never forgotten someone I met. Like I don't know if that's a thing or if like people are too cool to like remember someone. Like I don't forget someone. Like I get if like it was fast, like hey, oh, hi, bye, but like it wasn't. Like we sat there, we even had a conversation, and then you want to meet me next time, like hey, oh yeah, that's your name, like it's good to meet you. It's like, yeah, it was good to meet me the last 9 times too. Like, okay, so that's my other big pet peeve. So don't do that. What motivates you to spread Jesus? So I think what motivates me personally is knowing God. I don't think that I would have any motivation to share God if I didn't know God, but knowing that there's so many people who don't know him, who have literally been in my shoes where like I didn't know God and I was just kind of like going in the flow of things and kind of just like, like God's whatever, or more like, you know, just like very churchy, if that makes sense. Like I think that's what motivates me, because it's so different to be in church and then like to know God, you know, like you're not like saved because you're in church. Like there's just like, I don't know when that became a thing really. I guess it was back in biblical days because, you know, the Pharisees thought that they were saved, but they were really just over religious. And then you have people who like are actually striving to like know God. So there's like a huge difference. So to me, it's like actually knowing God and knowing that there's people who truly don't know God, especially those who like aren't even in church and like just playing around, you know, like there's like people who truly don't know God. So I think what motivates me is knowing him, and then what also like has me pursue people is knowing that they can know the same God that I do. What does being a God-fearing person mean to you? Being God-fearing isn't exactly like, I hope like for people that don't know, it's not like, oh my gosh, like I fear God, like I fear who he is. I think fearing for me, if I'm to interpret it, it's having honor and respect for God, and it's basically knowing God. It's not like, oh my God, I haven't prayed in like 10 days. Like no, it's more of like, how bright does your light shine type of thing, you know? Like I know that sounds like cheesy. Basically, God-fearing is almost, it's like stepping out of your reality and stepping into like God's reality. Like if that even makes sense, like you basically step out of who you are. Like it's not about you anymore, it's about God, and you just kind of like, you know, let God do his thing in your life. The Bible says that they will know you by your fruits. And so I think like it's really easy for people to see if you're actually like, you know, God-fearing, or if, you know, you're just kind of like there. Tell us an embarrassing moment when you got rejected. I've never gotten rejected, just kidding. So story time. I'm like a person, I don't usually get like easily offended, or like I've never like had problems with like people who I meet for the first time. Like I get if like you do me wrong and like, you know, we fall out, that's different. But and I'm just gonna keep it real in here. Like I'm not gonna be, like I said, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, like Jesus is so great, like I'm so nice. Like no, like, you know, that's not always the case. But I'm gonna keep it real and have a Christian attitude. So this is the first moment that comes to my head. I'm sure I've been like rejected in some other ways, but not some that I can think of. Shout out to the last job that I had. So, well, the last time I got rejected that I can think of was when I was working in retail. God, this story is so, give me a second. So I was working in retail at Tory Burch. Great company, yada yada, whatever, let's get into the juice. So I had gotten hired and you know, like everything seemed so great and I was like, oh my gosh, like I finally have a job, like I'm gonna be working. Given I had worked in retail before, I worked at like some other company and you know, I get like the attitudes, I get like all that stuff that, you know, like you deal with in retail. So I'm not just like some brat who like got a job and was like, oh my god, like, and people like, no. So when I got hired at Tory Burch, everything was good, you know, it all just kind of, it was fine. But tell me why after I got hired, it was like I would show up to prison and not work. Just kidding, I'm not that dramatic, but okay, no, honestly, like, it's really gross. After I had gotten hired and I would show up to work, if you know me, like, I'm just more of like a nice, like, kind of like talkative, outgoing person, and I'd show up to work and, you know, like, you get your little lockers and you start putting your stuff away, so I was like putting my stuff away and I'd be like, you know, people would be putting it, because we're all clocking in at the same time, you know, and I'd like put my stuff in there and then I turn in like, hey, and then this is I won't name names, but this was specific people. That was it. That's what they would do. They would literally look at me, dog me out, and walk away. I don't play that game. I really don't. That's disgusting. And so that was like, only one person did it then, and I was like, oh my god, like she just has, you know, like an attitude, like whatever, this will be good. No, it got like so bad where like so many people would dog me out, and honestly like everyone just started dogging me out, and it wasn't like I didn't know anyone, so like I was just like, oh, like okay, like you guys are just all mean. It's like a, you know, new city thing, like you all are rude. And so it actually got like really bad, you guys. Like it got to the point where like even some of my bosses didn't like me and I didn't know them. So I don't think you can really do that where you don't like someone and you don't know them. You're just kind of like, it just, you know, it was a bad experience. It really was. Like I would walk into work and people would just dog me out. I would like try starting a conversation, like not being pushy. I would just be like, oh hey, like I like your okay, awkward, like we're wearing the same like outfits, like your outfit, and they'd be like all of a sudden they were statues, you know, like oh my gosh, like honestly, like I'm really happy that it happened to me though. Like I know it's gonna sound like, oh my god, here she goes with her like, you know, little rant. No, I truly am happy that it happened to me because I can stick up for myself. But if it happened to someone who was like shy and like really like timid, like how sad and how disgusting of like certain people. Like honestly, that is like so gross because it's like what, like why would you do that? Like you don't even know me, you know? But I try to like make it into a spiritual thing and I'd be like, oh, like, you know, like it's because they see the light. Like honestly, I don't know if it was like because like my spirit aggravated their demons, or I don't know what it was. I really don't. It was just so like so gross, and it actually got really bad to the point where I would actually call out of work. I didn't call out a lot, but when I would save like my sick days, I remember calling in and I was not sick. I was sick of the people, and so that's literally why I called out. I was so annoyed that someone could actually make me feel like that, because that's never happened to me before. Like never, where I met someone and like people just didn't like me. Like there's obviously problems that lead to people not liking you. It's not just like you walk in and boom, people are like, I don't like you. Like what? It was kind of funny because like when I would call in, like I would like legit cry and I was like, oh my god, like why don't people like me? Like I've never done anything to them, including bosses, like people that are supposed to be mature. And I'm not trying to go on a rant and like live through the past and stuff like that, but honestly, like people who were supposed to be mature like would always like pick on me, and I was just like, do you know, like you don't know who I am clearly. And I would never like please don't think I'd walk into work and people would like tell me something and I'd be like, okay, like I'd be like, why'd you say that? I know, like I said, like we're gonna keep this real and we're just gonna be real. I wish I could come, and I'd be like, yeah, and then I'd walk into work and they'd do something bad and I would be like, turn the other cheek. Oh, turn this cheek. You only got 2 cheeks, so what happens after that? Like honestly. So that's when I got rejected. I got rejected by people apparently, like with coworkers. Like okay, so another question was, how do you feel having only sisters has bettered your life? It hasn't. No, I'm just kidding. I will say that to this day, I still wish that I had 2 older brothers in replace of my sisters, but you know, that's just life. So actually, that's like a really nice question. As I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate my sisters. It's kind of like having free clothes, you know? But no, for me personally, I feel like sisters, the older we get, the more we will appreciate each other. But right now we're kind of still like at, like sometimes we fight, most of the time we fight, but there's a lot of moments where like you're just with each other, and honestly you just kind of like learn to depend on one another. I'm the youngest of my 2 older sisters. As we've gotten older, we've learned to like value each other and each other's time a lot more, because when we were younger, clearly like we didn't care. And honestly, because I'm the youngest, I was like left out a lot, honestly, and I'd be like, oh my god, I just want 2 older brothers, like I hate you guys. And at the time I did. Now that we're getting older, I've really learned to appreciate the time that I have with my sisters, because at the end of it all, like you could have as many friends as you want, honestly. Like you could have best friends, you could have little like all these friends, but at the end of it all, like friends come and friends go, like and all you're gonna have left is your family, like your sisters. So I really do value that, and I do think about that a lot, where I'm like, dang, like at the end of it all, like you 2 are gonna be the ones like beside me, and you 2 are gonna be the ones like I'm gonna ask to be, you know, my maids of honor and things like that. Like it's not gonna be friends. I'm not gonna depend on like friends who've come and who've left and things like that. I think it's really better to me personally as I grow into like a young woman, because it's like I have 2 older sisters to look towards and to depend on. That's like the YouTube answer. Okay, so someone asked why I always wear a ring. So this is actually my purity ring. Yeah, it's kind of dirty right now, so don't mind it, but this is my purity ring. My dad actually gave this to me. He gave one to actually all me and my sister leaving 8th grade and going into high school. So he had taken me out to like this rooftop place, and he basically like, we ate, got dessert and stuff, and then like when we were looking over like the city of Anaheim Hills, we literally, he like pulled out a box and he was like, you know, he like gave me a talk of, you know, promising to him that I would not only just, it's not just like, oh what, so like you're not gonna have sex before marriage, it's like remaining pure like throughout this whole time that my romance is like gonna quit playing hide and seek and find me, you know? So my dad kind of told me that time when I was going into high school, you were gonna experience like a lot of different changes within your friends, and you know, people were gonna do things and you're gonna probably feel outcasted because it's not our personal morals and things like that. So he had given me the ring, and the ring basically like a promise between me and my dad, and obviously me and God, where I'm like promising to remain pure. Like if someone has a purity ring but they're not a virgin and stuff like that, it's not like, oh, you're disqualified, give me the ring back. No, it's like if you've asked for forgiveness, like true forgiveness, you know, you will be like forgiven. And it's more of being like pure in heart. That's like mainly what it is. And I know it sounds like, oh, I'm pure in heart, but it's for real. Like, you know, when you're pure of heart, you're pure of spirit, you're pure of mind and body and soul. And so you're pure in all things. And so that's kind of what the ring represents. And I do wear it on like my ring finger, to be honest. I don't know why. Oh, at the time this hand was too fat, it didn't fit. So I put it on this one, and I'm just too used to it. I'm not gonna switch it now that it fits on this one. So yeah, people sometimes like ask like, oh, are you married? Like, do I look married? So yeah, so that is actually all the questions for today. Those were some like really good questions, and I know there wasn't like too many like crazy in-depth ones, but I'll definitely like be doing another video like this if you guys like that kind of stuff. And yeah, I actually wanted you guys to leave a comment down below and tell me what other videos or what other topics like you guys would want to see. Just tell me what you guys think. We'll be looking out for that, or I'll be trying to, you know, like incorporate whatever you guys want to hear. So like and subscribe down below and tell me what you guys want to see in future videos, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.